You blew it!
You've seen Raiders, Star Wars, Aliens, and Close Encounters. But you are about to experience a totally new dimension in entertainment. Forged from the wealth of kings, source of the magical powers of good and evil, unleashed in the hands of a madman. Now, 5 daring heroes defy the odds in a deadly quest to capture the greatest prize of them all.
Go for it!
Treasure of the 4 Crowns. Share the ultimate modern adventure. Treasure of the 4 Crowns. In Supervision 3D. Coming soon. From Canon Releasing. To blast you out of your seats.
You blew it! You blew it! You blew it! You blew it!
Welcome to You Blew It. This is the show where we watch turd sandwiches in HD so you don't have to. Reliving our childhoods one Blu-ray disc at a time. I'm Roden. As always, joining me here in the Roden Family Fun Center is Camaro Kev. What's happening, sir?
Oh, not a whole lot. You sound very enthusiastic about this one. Yeah, you sound like you're just ready to talk about this one.
Nope, not at all.
That's
not at all. This movie this is probably one of the worst movies we've ever watched for this show.
Yeah, I would put it up there for sure.
Yeah. What was worse than this? Do you remember?
Boy,
I mean, Coming At You was pretty bad.
Coming At You was pretty bad, but we watched that with Genevieve.
Did we?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, that's right.
And I said "camed at you" like 1,000 times during that one, if I remember.
Yeah.
It done camed at you.
It did. It did indeed.
And this is the Treasure of the 4 Crowns, which is I don't know if it's the same production company, but it seems like
it's the same guy that was in Coming At You. I think it was the same production company.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure.
It seems like it was a part of that that early 80s push to do 3D again.
Right.
Like with Jaws 3D and Friday the 13th. And so this was one of the ones that came out. What was the other one that we watched was The Destruction of Jared Sid. What was that? Remember that 3D
God.
thing?
Yeah.
So this is
seem to remember that one was better than this movie though.
Yeah, that one was definitely better than this fucking movie. Yeah.
Like more fun to watch. This was a slog, man.
It was so slow, man.
Yeah.
The pacing was so slow.
Oh.
The music was terrible. It didn't match the movie.
Yeah, the music itself was decent. I thought the score was okay,
yeah,
but
it was
it
fine.
didn't fit anything that was going on.
No.
This whole movie opens up on this extremely long adventure sequence.
Yeah.
Where the main character, who you have doesn't say a fucking word for the first, it felt like 20 minutes of the movie. I guarantee it's not that long.
I turned to you at some point and I said, is this all this movie's going to be? Is
it going to be a silent film?
And this dude just running between rooms with traps and animals and all sorts of shit.
Yeah, but really dumb traps.
Really dumb traps.
And this guy looking so disinterested in what he was doing. And he looked very familiar to me at that point. And we couldn't really put our finger on it until the end of the movie, where I was like, wait a minute, was he in some sort of Western that we watched?
And that was coming at you.
It was Coming At You. Yeah. He's the main character in that movie as well.
And now, along the lines of that movie and what is the one with the destruction of Sid? What was that thing called?
I can't remember.
It was like a Mad Max deal, right?
Yeah.
That movie, this movie, eye-breaking 3D. Shit coming, trying to pop out so far that it breaks your eyes, dude.
Right, and with really dumb stuff too, where they'll just they'll take a pencil and they'll move it around in their hand to where it's like, they're like holding it right in front of the lens and fucking with a pencil or something like that. Like it was just something that doesn't need to be 3Dized.
It reminded me of that bit that they did on
SNL?
Not SNL.
What?
What's the other one?
Mad TV?
The old one, the Canadian one that used to run on Nick
Second City?
Yes.
Yeah.
They did a bit where they were doing it was like 3D horror theater, and they'd go at the camera. They'd go whatever they had, they'd go like do this whole thing towards the camera and back towards the camera.
Yeah,
that was the whole bit.
And it's very much so
almost exactly
as well. Yeah.
So and God bless, this is a Canon movie. So you got to thank old Golan Globus for buying this one from the Italian production company.
Yeah.
So it opens with this guy in this.
He's going around a weird abandoned castle in a fucking sweet ski jacket. Like this guy's is wearing ski jackets throughout the whole movie.
Mr. Stryker is
Mr. Stryker. Yeah.
It's so, for what kind of movie it is, it doesn't really make sense. Like he's going to this castle, which it looks like you said maybe Spain. It's Spain or Italy or something.
I think it's Spain.
He's got this bright red ski jacket, and he's got these. He always has a cool.
But there's no snow.
There's no snow.
It seems to be in summer.
A cool jacket, and then also gloves of some sort.
Oh man, and those gloves are fucking sweet though. They're
this is
brown with it. They're like tan with like black stripes on each finger. Almost looks like something that Han Solo wore. In the first
it is kind of like that.
Star Wars: A New Hope.
So he's going he's dropping lower and lower in this castle. It doesn't make any sense. He's going into these rooms. There's like one room full of vines that have a bunch of birds trying to attack him.
And then there's also some sort of weird pterodactyl kind of
that's right. It's
dragon
like
kind of
you're right.
That's in there.
It's a pterodactyl.
Yeah. And
real dumb.
So it kind of sets it up that there's going to be fantastical creatures and stuff like that.
It does,
but there really isn't. That's the first time and the last time that you see any fantastical creature in the movie.
And the only way these things attack is flying straight into the camera. So they fly straight into the camera, and you'll see his reaction of fighting it off. Then straight in the camera. And they love repeating the same shot over and over again.
Over and over, and then in slow-mo, and then in slower mo. Yeah, and then they'll speed it back up, and it's the same shot.
Oh my God. And on and on and on.
One after the other, right? And I think, do you think that's just padding time? It had to have been, right?
I think so, yeah.
This movie is so long, or it feels so long. What was the time on it? Is it 80 minutes?
Runtime is 101 minutes.
101. See, they could have cut out 20 minutes of this fucking movie, no problem.
Yeah, because you have essentially 3 or 4 set pieces that are just the same thing, where it's like in the beginning, it's 3 of them in a row, because he goes into each chamber. There's one where they're just shooting spears at him. So they're
right.
And I even mentioned when we're watching for that movie Coming at Ya.
Yeah,
this should have been called Coming at Ya, because
everything done
came at ya.
Coming at you too. Done came at you.
But I mean, this even more so.
I don't know, dude. I think Coming At You had a lot of that shit in there too.
I don't recall it being so.
I think
aggressive, with these.
I think you've wiped it from your memory just because it was.
I'm saying
with
these
so
same shots over and over again, doing all that shit. I don't think they did that much.
Oh, maybe not that.
Yeah.
But there was a scene in Coming At You where you just they 3Dized a baby girl's butt and vagina onto your face.
Right.
Yeah. Which was highly inappropriate.
Upsetting.
Highly inappropriate.
So what we find out is he goes through all of this stupid shit in all of these chambers.
And it takes
forever.
Nothing was edited out of this movie. That's my... They just did... they didn't take anything out. They just put duplicates in.
Here's my theory.
Yeah.
Okay, we've set up this room. This is going to be the snake room or the vines room. And then they're like, we've got this 3D camera. And I think they just said, go buck wild. Just experiment and throw things at the lens, poke things at the lens, and then we'll just montage it all together.
And this guy's such a bad actor,
He's so
really
bad
at
actor.
it, dude. He just looks like, I mean, most of the time he looks so disinterested in what is going on, or what is supposedly going on around him. It's ridiculous.
He looks like a busted older version of Steve Perry, the lead singer old lead singer of Journey.
He's the illegitimate older brother of Steve Perry.
Yeah, and then he's also kind of Columbo-ish too, I think.
I think that's just because of the stuff that he's wearing.
Maybe, and his haircut or something. I don't know.
Yeah, totally.
So what he eventually, after 20 to 30 minutes of this nonstop bullshit, dogs chasing him, spirit, he ends up in a room with a bunch of skeletons and a bunch of
and there's like ghosts.
There's like the skeletons are moving and laughing
and laughing at him and stuff, and then they start shooting spears at him, and he steals this like key out of this like scepter that's inside a tomb.
Yeah,
and then he jumps through a window and
swings through the window.
Window. But we've watched this guy like go down and down and down and down, and then somehow he gets out of a window. And wasn't he supposed to be in a basement?
I don't. Yeah, there's no understanding the geography of.
There's really no logic to it. But and then we see this series of explosions. Like for some reason, the castle starts to explode.
Yeah, like the fact that he stole this thing,
and it's just like the same explosion over and over again. And then he like jumps. And, you know, they do that Hollywood trope where, like, you get knocked back by an explosion or something like that. But he jumps way later than the explosion.
Way late.
Like, all the fire from the explosion is gone, and he jumps. It's bonkers, dude. It is absolutely bonkers. I wonder if they did any damage to that real castle, too.
I was wondering that, too, because it was like, I mean...
There was a lot of fire.
Clearly, it was, like, some legit castle somewhere.
Yeah. Totally.
We should mention this movie was 1983.
Yeah.
So he gets this key and he takes it to this dude, and the dude is like, "This is gonna help us
save the world or
save
something?"
the world." He's like, then they give us this this thing about there's this evil cult that this guy started. And he has...
Whoa. Hold on. Don't gloss over this, because the guy who started the cult, remember what his rap sheet was? He only had one thing that he had been arrested for.
Yeah, well, I don't remember this.
Armed robbery.
Oh. I don't remember that. I remember them saying he used to be at like a shop owner in New York.
Yeah. And then he robbed someplace with a gun. And that's when he went to prison and like... went cray-cray and turned into a fucking cult leader.
And he has two of the 4 crowns. One crown was destroyed. They explained that like.
See, I missed this.
You don't remember
part.
this? They said that these crowns have been passed around through the centuries.
Keep in mind, name of the movie is Treasure of the 4 Crowns.
Yeah.
There are only 3 crowns.
And I believe they had possession of 1 crown. So when he gave him the key,
because he brings that key. Oh, this is the dumbest fucking thing ever, too.
There's like a little round like
ball
like a
on
gold
top,
ball
on top of this thing.
A fucking egg that you can pop open.
Yeah.
Puts the key in, it opens up, and that one has like a scroll in it or something.
Yeah, it's like a little paper scroll.
Did that mean anything? I don't recall it meaning anything.
They don't say what was even on it.
So he goes, "Hey, this cult guy, he's really bad. He's got thousands and thousands of followers. They're holed up in this castle up on this mountain, and we need to go in and get these 2 crowns, because if we let him keep them and keep doing what he's doing, the world's going to fucking fall to him." So this guy's like...
He's got to put together a team.
Well, at first Stryker's like, I'm not up for any more of your
that's
magic bullshit.
Yeah.
Your fairy tale magic bullshit. Keep in mind, This motherfucker just jumped through like a portal thing, is fighting skeletons.
Oh, that was the other thing we forgot. Like he jumped through a portal.
It makes no sense. He falls feet first, then he's head first, then it's so fucking
there's
dumb.
a bunch of like colored stones in it and stuff like that, or windows or whatever. That was in the first castle, by the way. Yeah,
he's seen all of this incredible shit, and he says to them like, I don't need any more of your fairy tale bullshit. And even to the guy's credit, the guy that's trying to sell him is like, do they imply that he's almost like an FBI agent or something?
Something like that.
And he's got this.
He's an American
old professor archaeologist with him who knows all about the crowns. And so those are the two that are trying to recruit Mr. Stryker, because after he got this key for him, they're like, you're the guy that can help us get this shit. So he says no. Cut to next scene.
They're together
driving
through like a snowy winter wonderland, trying to get to this guy that Stryker knows.
Yeah.
That's a good climber. Yeah.
But he's an alcoholic.
But he's a super alcoholic. Yeah.
So they get him.
At this guy's house.
Oh, fuck. Oh, no. Another one of those scenes.
I mean, this shit goes on for so fucking long. Like,
man.
It almost felt like they showed them drive from Spain all the way to Sweden.
Yeah.
Where this drunk guy is. Like in real time. And then they finally get to this house. And this guy's so fucking wasted, right? They're just like, and there's so much silence. There's not a lot of dialogue.
No.
And probably for a good reason, because these people were not good at making movies in the first place. So how good are they going to be at writing actual dialogue? But
and the FBI agent wants nothing to do with this guy. He's like, this guy's a drunk, and I can't even believe that. Like, let's just go. And Stryker's like, no, he's the best climber in the world.
So to get this guy onto the team, because he says, the only thing I'm interested in is drinking. I'm not joining the team. And so Stryker takes out the key, this magical key that he got from the tomb in the first scene in the movie, and like it just goes fucking apeshit.
It starts floating around the room. It's trying to get out.
Exploding things and breaking glass and pushing things over.
There's another example of their set pieces where it's just things exploding and flying at the camera, and these guys reacting to it.
But it goes on forever, for way too long. And it's like constantly showing the faces of the three guys that are in the room, reacting to it, which they're not good at. And like, some of the reactions are just like, I mean, I just don't understand what the direction was in that room when they were making this movie. Like,
again,
I think look to the side and act like nothing is happening.
Yeah. I think it's, again,
no emotion on your face whatsoever.
Let's go buck wild. We got this 3D thing. Let's go buck wild, and we'll just get some shots of you guys sometimes reacting to the stuff or just standing there.
Yeah. Just bonkers, man.
So then, and we should mention that each person's going to get $100,000.
Yeah.
To do this job.
Yep.
So then they meet up with this like trapeze artist. Was that the next one?
Yeah, it was a trapeze artist couple, right?
I don't know if it was
an older guy.
Yeah, I think he was like her mentor.
A younger woman? No, I thought they were lovers.
No, because she even makes some sort of. They make a comment about. He's like, because that one, the clown guy was talking to him. He's like, you're going to leave all of this stuff to her. Like he's like, you can't do this because of your heart.
Wouldn't that make sense if they were lovers as well?
I guess, but I got more of the sense like maybe it was like her father or they're not lovers, dude. What would imply that they're lovers?
That they're together?
No, they worked at a fucking circus.
Yeah, so
they're fucking. Point? This old guy's fucking her. That's what you get out of this.
I think so.
I don't think so.
I think so.
I think that he was like a mentor in some fashion, and
I thought they were married.
What sort of shit are you making up in your mind?
Hey man, look, I was paying attention to the movie. Somebody else wasn't.
Okay.
All right.
All right. Well, I was going to say, well, it's playing in the background. Maybe we'll get to that scene, but I'm hoping we can wrap this up.
I hope we can get through this way before that shit happens because I'm even mad, like, just having it playing in the background.
Okay.
It's making me angry.
At the very least, they are partners of some sort.
They are partners of some sort.
They're partners of some sort. And he is talking to this old clown at the circus, and the clown's
Let's just say they're friends with benefits.
I'm not going to say that. You want them to. This dude was some grizzled old man, balding with like a scar.
Like real nasty scar on his nose. And then a scar on his cheek, yeah. And he's got a clown friend.
The clown friend is even older than he is, and the clown friend says, "What about your heart?" And he says, "Yeah, whatever. I only got like 6 months left anyway."
Right, yeah.
Something to that effect. Yeah. And then, but I'm doing this for her or something.
Yeah.
Or something.
And seriously, it looked like the clown guy probably should have only had 6 months to live. That guy was fucked up.
And he shouldn't have been giving advice to anybody.
No, not at all.
Health decisions.
Not at all, man.
Was that the crew? Was there one?
Yeah, that was the crew. So it was
the FBI agent.
Yeah. The climber.
The climber and the trapeze
climber,
artist.
and then the trapeze couple.
So once they get the team all together, they meet back up with the old professor.
And they have, holy shit. So they're coming up with the plan, right? And they unveil this like mock-up of the castle and the grounds surrounding the castle and stuff.
It's very much like
so fucking detailed.
Doc Brown in Back to the Future.
Yeah, but like even more so, more detail. Like it was a full-on like very well done miniature of all this castle, along with like electronics to show you that mimic like the lasers.
Yeah, he's like
that they have in the room that the two crowns are kept in.
They also were like anywhere on here where there's green lights is where guards are.
Guards are,
and wherever there's this many lights, like they're explaining like what the fuck.
Yeah, yeah.
So they need to go in on the certain day where they leave the castle and go to this other part of the compound, and they initiate a bunch of new recruits. That's what they explain, right? So they go.
The cult, you mean?
The cult, yeah. And so they're saying we only have like 8 hours at best or something.
Right.
And they go over there, they do this whole ritual, and while they're doing the ritual, we're gonna
break
go in and get
into this room.
And and I can't even remember all the shit they list off. They're like,
well, so it was like the floor was like pressure sensitive, so you couldn't touch the floor, right?
Yeah.
They demonstrated that with a feather on the mock-up, and they dropped a feather down onto the floor, which, like, again, they spent way more time on making that model than they did on planning their fucking attack.
Yeah.
Like, they dropped a feather onto the floor on the model, and like this, series of alarms went off. Then there's also like lasers in there and everything like that.
There's a big iron fence that's
electrified as well. That they have to get past.
You got to get past that. So essentially
we're already at the climax of the movie.
Essentially the crowns are in this giant auditorium thing.
Yeah.
That has this iron gate in the middle of it almost, and that's electrified. And then lasers on one half. There's only the side like before the fence had the lasers. Right. The other side had like
Let's back up just a second.
Please no.
Because this is an important point.
Nothing
is
in
that
this movie's important.
No, not really, but except for this thing. When Stryker takes out the key unleashes a shit ton of power, right? And Stryker like confidently takes out this key twice before they go to the castle. Like he's going to control it or something, or use the power, and he can't control it whatsoever.
No.
And so you get that whole scene at the drunk's house, the drunk climber guy's house, where it just destroys everything. And then he catches the key and it blows out this window and whatever. And then while they're planning this thing, like he takes the key out again for no apparent reason. And holds it in his hand and starts shaking and stuff. And then everybody gets a really bad headache and like falls to the ground and shit.
And the dude with the bad ticker was like, "Oh, this might be it for him."
Right, like he almost died.
Yeah,
he didn't tell anybody. But at the same time, it's like, why do you keep on taking the fucking key out if you can't control this fucking thing?
And where's he keeping it in his fucking pocket?
It's just in his pocket. Like, wouldn't the key just be doing that all the time? Constantly?
Yeah. And doesn't that end up like the whole castle explodes and shit? Like, does it not? Like things like start.
Yeah, that's like the very end. Like he takes it out. Yeah. But I mean, we can gloss over this if they get to the castle, right? Oh, this cult is having their seance thing.
But remember too that after they list off all the shit that they have to get through, the girl goes, "How are we going to do this? This is impossible." And Mr. Stryker says,
"We're going to fly."
And he has this like dramatic like thing that he's been twiddling with.
Yeah, it's like
he
like
shows it like flying down into like I guess pushing down into the room like it's flying in there. It's like fly. What?
Yeah, and then they don't fly.
They don't fly.
They don't fly at all.
Why wouldn't he just say to the trapeze artist,
"We're going to trapeze.
We're going to trapeze in. You guys are the ones that know how to do it."
Yeah.
It's fucking
made
dumb.
a lot more. It would have made a lot more sense.
So they sneak into the castle,
right?
With the
very
worst,
very quickly,
with the worst day for night I've ever seen in a movie.
Man, that's right.
So clearly a sunny midday.
No clouds,
and they've got barely a tint on the lanes.
Oh yeah.
But they're sneaking around like
it was very bright, very bright.
And then they find this door. They knew all this stuff because someone had smuggled out a key for them guys that had escaped the cult and explained all this to them. That's why they knew all this shit. They're like, "We've got a key to the main door." And it's like some weird side door they kind of go in through.
Yeah.
And then they find the fucking main room.
Yeah.
Like very quickly.
Yeah.
They hardly sneak around in the castle at all. They get to the main room.
No, they get there. They're like right there.
And then the rest of the movie is them trying to go from one side of this room to the other where the crowns are, intercut with the cult.
The cult doing
their
thing.
Stupid.
Yeah. By the way, the cult leader is covered in bells,
and so are a bunch of his like.
Yeah.
Right. He has tambourines and bells on them as well.
Covered in bells. He's got like a Zelda fucking what's that thing? The triangle thing?
Yeah,
what's it called?
Yeah, what is that in Zelda?
I can't remember, but it's got a name.
Yeah, it's like the what is it? Because you got to get each piece.
Yeah, you got to get each piece to it. But he's got that like painted on his forehead.
And
he's faking a girl is faking being sick, and like he's like, healing her, but he's basically like he's the worst fucking cult leader on the planet, dude. He is so bad. And like all these disinterested people are just like sitting down in front of this sick woman, and he's telling them that he has the power, but he needs them to heal the girl.
Yeah, he
by saying heal her.
Something. he's like, "I have this power, but I need you guys to help me. Like you all have to."
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, it was like,
but it's very like he gives a couple speeches where it's just like I'm fucking cool. I'm fucking cool. Yeah. Like it's basically that, but
I'm pretty cool.
I'm pretty cool, but you guys are gonna have to help me with this.
So they start chanting, and the guys with the tambourines are like tambourining at the camera.
Yeah. It's like super cool 3D.
Yeah.
And then she finally kind of gets better and like winks at him, and then he winks at her back. It's so fucking 80s. It's so 80s kids movie, dude.
It really is. And there is no reason for them to do that other than to show us in the audience.
Right.
There actually is no reason for us to even know that this guy is a charlatan of some sort, because he has the fucking magic crowns.
He's got these magic crowns.
And we've already established that the key and these crowns are actual magic.
Yeah, it didn't have to be that he was a scam artist.
Yes. It was so stupid.
Yeah. It's completely unnecessary.
Real dumb.
Yeah.
So all this is going on, and what they do, it's very much like,
oh my God,
like Mission
they
Impossible.
are showing every fucking step, though. They are showing every step of how they're getting up into the rafters, because they start on the floor, they get up into the rafters by hooking on harnesses. They show everybody put on their harness.
Oh my God, it takes forever.
Like every step of them putting on the harness, and then they shoot a rope into this big rafter.
The triform?
Tricycle. No. I
just saw it on the dude's head here. Triforce.
Triforce.
It's the Triforce.
Is that what it is? Triforce. Yeah, that
looking
sounds
for the
right.
Triforce.
Yeah.
So keep going. This is good stuff. Keep going.
Yeah.
This
Every
really
single
cool.
step, right?
Yeah.
So then they
3D crotch shots of harnesses going up on guys' taints and balls.
You see the fucking the FBI guy's butt just like blowing out of that harness. And then they get up into the rafters, and then they show every step of the way of the female trapeze artists like swinging from that. They like. It would have been kind of cool if they just
actually kind of cool.
Cut this together well and edited it down so it wasn't so fucking long. But like, they grab her by the legs, they swing her over. They have this cool kind of contraption where it's another trapeze that she hooks and clamps onto the rafter further down. And then they do that step over and over again. And
she ratchets it, and then
every part of it. They got
to go across this entire fucking room.
Well, they did it for real.
Yeah,
which is kind of crazy.
It is kind of crazy. Like you said, the way they kind of did it, of all the things in this movie, was kind of clever.
Yes.
The only problem with, and this is classic for these movies too, is they have that gun that shoots a really pointy spear into the wood.
Right. And that's supposed to take all the weight from
and then
like
it's got like a pulley
people.
system. Yeah. And so he shoots that thing up and they pulley her up. Yeah. And then she gets up there, puts the clamp up, and they start each one of them.
So many. Dude, the carabiner budget on this.
Oh my God.
On this
so
scene
many
must
carabiners.
have been huge.
Showing you snap carabiners left and right, like showing them, like clipping them in things all the time.
Yes.
And at this point, me and you go, why are there 5 of them?
Yeah, it seems like that would have made it harder.
Because really all they needed to do was have her get up there, and one other person that kind of swings her over.
Yeah.
She ratchets the clamp.
That's it.
The next guy comes over, they swing her over, she ratchets the clamp. That's it. But no, they got to have 5.
Yeah, maybe it's like one of those old story problems where it's like you have a chicken, a fox, and
a boat that only holds
boat that only holds 2 people at a time or 2.
How do you get them all over in what? Like 2 moves or whatever. Yeah,
a chicken, a fox, and a bale of hay or whatever it was. Yeah.
Kind of like that.
Oh my God. So they finally get over, but then
but this also, you get a lot of like stuff that I go, now I see where Mission Impossible kind of got, where like the person would fall and then right before they hit the floor, they cinch up the thing and pull them back up. And so they're like sitting there trying not to touch the floor or whatever.
Right.
Like, like holding their hands out like, oh God, I was so close. Mm-hmm. But yeah, they finally.
But then what triggers? Because they get past the electric gate, right?
Yeah.
The FBI guy like sets up some sort of like electrical bypass or whatever in a.
Oh yeah, there's a bunch of that shit.
Yeah.
That's right. So that was his job. Was he could disarm all the electronics.
Right.
He does it for a couple of doors.
That's right.
Stupid thing where he put those USB.
That's right. I forgot about that. Yeah. It was like they used this kind of cool USB thing, but it was so loud.
Yeah.
It was so loud.
He's like, come on, hurry up. They make so much fucking noise. Yeah. At one time, there's a guy, the guard that comes walking in and kind of looks around. He thinks he hears something. Doesn't look up.
Nope.
Leaves.
Of course not. Why would you?
Then they're in there making all this fucking noise, and then like another guard comes over with a dog. The dog starts sniffing the door, but it's like, nah, I'll just keep walking.
He doesn't pay attention to the dog.
Yeah.
Why have a dog in the first place if you're not going to fucking pay attention
Real
to
stupid.
when it's making noise? Yeah.
Eventually, and I can't remember what's that, like the dude with the bad ticker.
He has a heart attack.
He has a heart attack.
But I think it was when, like, something happens. Something, I can't remember exactly what happens. Like, maybe, like, a rope comes loose or some shit. And he has a heart attack and, like, basically dies, like, hanging upside down.
Yeah, he falls, and it again, one of those things where it's like, oh, he's going to hit the floor, but nope, the rope, like, stops him in time.
And then she screams, and then I think guards hear that, right? And they start filing in.
No,
or something like that.
No, they set off an alarm at some point. Like when he finally gets on, because they get Mr. Stryker, he's the one that ends up jumping down onto the pedestal that has this stupid statue.
Yeah,
it's like a goat,
a double-headed goat. Yeah,
and the crowns are on that double-headed goat thing.
Right.
And
but
he sets off an alarm when he finally gets up there.
That's right. And then the guy has a heart attack. No. The alarm doesn't go off yet because the guy has a heart attack and he falls down. Remember, he's wearing a beanie.
Yeah, this beanie
and he's
falls
upside.
off.
He's upside down and his beanie falls off, but it doesn't set off any alarm. Like they just kind of whiff past that.
I think it was a continuity error. Like
for sure.
They were just like,
because if you remember back to when they were like making the plan and shit, they were like even a feather can like.
But apparently not a beanie.
This thing off. But not a beanie. Beanies are too soft.
He's hanging there dead. She comes down and
she's going nuts.
She lowers herself and goes, "Oh my God!"
Because she's in love with him,
and she shuts his eyes. He's hanging upside down, and she shuts.
Because that's what a lover would do.
Okay, whatever, or a daughter. So, oh no, they're all sad, and then FBI dude takes the nap too, doesn't he?
Yeah, somehow. I can't remember. I can't remember how.
Completely forgot.
Yep.
One of the traps, or I don't know what it is, something or other.
Yeah, maybe he gets shocked or something. I can't remember. Oh, no, it's one of the things. It's so Stryker then falls down onto the... But he doesn't set the alarm off. What sets the alarm off is him trying to open the fucking crown with the key.
With the key.
One of the crowns with the key.
Yeah.
And then, like, these spikes come up through the floor, and they shoot up, and the drunk guy gets killed.
Yep.
Right? And then something else shoots up and I think kills the FBI guy.
So, and then at this point I said, oh, now I see why they have 5 people, so 3 of them could die.
Right. Yeah.
And now it's just her and Mr. Stryker. Mm-hmm. And he opens the first one, sets off an alarm. The cult guy's like, oh, someone's trying to steal the crowns. Let's go after him.
Yep. There's all sorts of traps like rigged into the statue too, so there's constantly something happening and
he had like
shit
some
going
steam
off.
blow out into his face.
Yeah, a snake came out.
Yeah, that's right.
Bit him. And then that's how the FBI agent died. He got bit by the snake.
Oh, is that how it was?
Yeah.
Okay. And then so in these crowns, there's one like green jewel and one red jewel. Right?
Yeah.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, and so he grabs the jewels and his arms just become flamethrowers.
That's it.
And his face gets all fucked up.
Melted.
Yeah, melted. And he turns into kind of a bad guy and he just fucking like flames and he's just constantly doing this thing where he's crossing his arms and uncrossing them and just shooting flames across the room. And
it was clear that
everybody.
they got their hands on some sort of a flamethrower. We can wire this through your arms right here. And
I was actually scared for the actors in that
too.
moment because it was just like, boy, the way that they put the rest of this movie together, like I'm not super
I wouldn't
confident
trust that shit.
That the two cult guys that were on fire that were running away.
Yeah.
Like they may have really been on fire. Like
I know.
They may have really been hurt.
There was like flamethrowers shooting from the walls.
Yeah.
So one dude was already burning and he ran through one of those.
Yeah.
In slow-mo. But the dude's just hosing down the room. He almost
kills the cult leader.
Kills the cult leader. Cult leader's like face starts to shatter and like I think
that was a weird one, dude. I think they fucked that special effect up.
That's what we were saying.
Like he was supposed to melt.
Yeah, he was supposed to do something spectacular. And it didn't work. It was like a little chunk.
It was supposed to be like Raiders of the Lost Ark style kind of thing. but it didn't work.
No, and it was like in slow mo, and it was nothing. Like you're like, okay,
and they only made one.
Clearly, they only made one. It didn't work out right, and so they just like, well, that's all that's gonna. He eventually like burns up, and this dude is just possessed, and he's just hosing the room down. Almost kills the girl. She's terrified.
Yeah. And she talks him down.
Yeah, and then they
radio for a helicopter.
That's right. Oh, we didn't know this. The helicopter is going to come and take them out of this room, like the lower
audience not told of that.
Not told of this.
Yeah.
And they were going to do this. Well, let's talk about this for just a fucking second.
Okay.
So they got to sneak in, correct? Like, got to do all this shit silently.
Oh, we're going back to this again?
No, what I'm saying is like, I'd never thought of this before, but like, they sneak in, they get the crowds, and ultimately a fucking helicopter is going to pick all 5 of them up out of this room.
So basically the plan was we're going to set this alarm off somehow.
Yeah.
And like, we're going to have to fight our way out of here. We're going to kill a bunch of dudes. And then we'll just take a helicopter out.
Because once they get they're like, all right, send in the chopper. And so they lower this line to get him out of there.
Right.
But before it does, Stryker, I guess, is like, this shit's too evil for the world, or this is
right.
Too,
and he just
too powerful.
He just like throws one of the gems just down onto the
fire that's burning,
desiccated body of the cult leader. And so he just leaves it there.
And you're right. It is just one of the jewels, right? Like,
he doesn't throw both of them. He like puts one in his breast pocket and then just throws the other one down on the fucking dead body.
And then it like,
which is so fucking stupid,
real dumb. And then
like, isn't this thing supposed to be like evil incarnate? Like, why would you just leave it laying there?
I don't know. And then of course they get him out of there, and then I forget it doesn't even really wrap up. It shows like an evil hatching from like a slimy egg or something.
A slimy,
underground
swamp or some shit.
Cut to credits.
Yeah. But was there a scene with him and the woman and the professor guy in the helicopter at all?
I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
I don't think so.
Like, there wasn't any wrap up of that, of the team.
See, I thought like at the end he may have thrown both jewels, like basically like these are
maybe
too,
he did.
These
maybe
are
I
too
missed
powerful for the world to
no,
have.
but he just, I mean, if he threw both of them, he left both of them there with the fucking
either way he left
body.
it like I think I guess he thought like throwing them into the fire would root like. Why would he think that it would destroy
I don't know,
them?
because he's a fucking idiot.
He is a fucking idiot. And if you remember, they have a radio there, and the guy that's picking him up, the professor's like, "Do you have the crowns? Their power is incredible. Famines will be saved." And he's saying all this shit over the walkie-talkie, and that's when Stryker's like, "Fuck this," and he is like, "We don't need this." And then he tosses them in, or tosses one of them in, and then off they go. So I think it was like basically at the end he was like the way I interpret it was like, this shit's too dangerous. We can't even let it into the hands of anybody and throw it back in. But in doing so, awoke another evil, or I don't know, because that was the end of the movie.
Yeah, well, I mean, I hope there's a sequel.
I know. Me too. Me too.
This movie fucking sucked, dude.
Movie sucked.
It was time. So. I mean, I was really having trouble staying awake through it.
It was so slow.
First of all, I mean, granted, I was already tired, but usually when that happens, and we're doing this, and we're both pretty sacked from the day or whatever, I'll usually wake up like during the movie at least.
Yeah,
It's a tough one. And can make it through it, but this one was a real fucking slog, man. Real slog. Oh, Jesus Christ. What was the line that he said, though, that was just...
It was funny. When he comes up over the...
Wonderful.
He comes up over the giant fence and he looks down on the statue.
Yeah.
And I think he says...
beautiful sons of bitches or something like that?
He goes like... here I come, you magical son of a bitch. He calls it a magical son of a bitch. And I can't remember if it was like what he said. Like, it's something like, "I'm coming for you, you magical son," or "There you are, you magical son of a bitch."
Something along those lines.
Yeah. It's odd too. It's like the fence, you can see through it.
Yeah.
It's not like he came up over this fence and now he's finally got his eyes on the...
Yeah, why didn't he say that when they opened the door?
I don't know. and so, yeah, he's up there.
He just knew he had there were such insurmountable odds to get over that fence that when he finally did, like, he really felt it.
I guess so.
Yeah.
That was the line. That was the line.
There you go, man.
How many bluets on this one?
Oh, fuck. I give it a 0.5. 0.5. Like, the story was terrible. The special effects were, for the most part, kind of fun, but there wasn't enough of them. And then just overall, I mean, it was so boring.
Yeah.
It was such a boring movie. Like, everything took so long to get through. Like, again, they showed every single step of everything that they were doing, which was completely unnecessary.
Yeah.
Like, this movie needed to be 20 minutes shorter.
Yeah, it was 101 minutes. It definitely should only...
You could have done this 90. In 80 minutes.
Yeah, you could have.
Easily. You just cut some of this fat out of the fucking scenes, man.
I honestly think what got them in trouble is I think they thought that the 3D action scenes were going to be so fucking cool.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that's what they were showing to foreign distributors. They were probably showing them all of these.
Check this spear out.
Check these crazy scenes out.
Yeah.
Check this explosion in 3D. All this shit. But they overdid it and
totally overdid it. They did a bunch of unnecessary stuff too, like taking a pole out. Or like I was saying earlier, like a pencil or something like that.
Yeah, like there's
somebody's handing a pencil to. Oh, yeah, that was actually one of them. Somebody's handing a magnifying glass over to the camera, to the professor,
and then the person would be grabbing it back.
Yeah,
and pulling it back from the camera.
Right, and it's just so unnecessary.
Yeah,
so unnecessary.
I'm gonna give it 1 bluet. I actually didn't think the plot was that bad. The idea, like, there's a cult leader, he's got this power, and we need to go in and steal it from him before.
Yeah, but they didn't execute.
They didn't
very
execute
well.
it. I'm just saying, like, that the plot was simple. It could have been okay. Like, we need to assemble a crew, some thieves to go in and steal this thing.
Yeah.
It could have in the hands of
a competent person.
Yeah. It kind of could have been a fun sort of adventure.
Now, was this directed by that actor? What's his name again, by the way?
Oy vey. I don't have my glasses here.
Tim Thomerson?
I wish it was Tim Thomerson.
Me too.
Fuck.
It would have been awesome.
Tony Anthony.
Tony Anthony, that's right.
Of Coming At Ya.
Yeah.
Tony Anthony did not direct this. It's someone Fernando Bellini?
Mancini or something. Yeah.
See if you can read that. Fernando. Wait, what is it? It's the very last credit.
I'm looking for it.
The last credit.
Oh, Fernando Baldi.
Oh, yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah. And I think, so Tony Anthony was in a ton of, like, old spaghetti Western
That's
stuff
what he
too.
said, yeah. He was,
and I think he was probably mainly in, like, those Italian spaghetti Westerns in the 70s and shit. Yeah. But I don't think this one was worth it, dude. It was I thought it was awful.
Yeah,
I thought it was absolutely awful.
It's not good, man.
And you are not allowed to leave this movie at my house. This is going home with you.
Okay, all right. You know what was funny when this is Kino Lorber who put this movie out along with Coming At Ya and some of these other catalog 80s 3D movies, and I was on like one of the forums, and this guy was like, before this came out, they're like, man, I really wish they'd released Treasure of the Four Crowns. And so this asshole kind of built it up for me.
Oh, man.
So I was like, of these movies,
man.
and then finally they announced it. I was like, oh, this is that movie that one dude was talking about.
Yeah. And it was probably Tony Anthony.
It probably was Tony Anthony. And boy, I would rather watch Coming At Ya again than this.
Boy, you know what? I've still got it on the shelf. You can take it with you.
I think it's mine anyways.
It is yours. You left it here, which makes me think that we hated that movie so much that you left it here.
I'm proud to have the trilogy of Kino Lorber. Actually, I don't think I have the Death of Jared Sin or whatever. I don't think I own that one. But anyways, I give it a blue. One blew it.
Okay, I'm going 0.5 just because it made it onto a disc.
Yeah,
they put it on a disc. Great job.
All right. Dialogue.
Well, it's that line, dude.
Go for it.
You, what's he say again? There you are, you magical sons of bitches.
No, you magical son of a bitch.
You magical son of a bitch.
Cut print.
Cut print.
Here I come, you magical son of a bitch.